Yo, Food Service Power Plant Network, welcome to Monday night, the best night of the week, where we get to pick the brain of an industry leader coming off what was hopefully for you a great weekend. Look at this. We have already friends in the house. Buck is in the house. Yo, Buck, the future's bright, man, for sure. Run with those shades. I was wearing shades all weekend. Top was off the Jeep, and it was sunny here in Colorado. I hope it was where you are. Hey, welcome, everybody. Tonight, it remains my favorite night of the week where we connect with an industry leader and they share their story and they tell us what they're dreaming of and they tell us the things they've overcome. Tonight, we have an awesome guest, Guyott from Rippe Associates. She is a principal at Rippe, and she is set to become, when the transition happens in January, the next chair of FCSI, the Americas, which will be awesome, leading our consultant body. Remember, there's the 5 families in our industry, the consultants, FCSI, the dealers, FIDA, the reps, MOFC, the manufacturers, NAFM, and the service agents, CFSA. Christine is going to help lead, be the chair of the consultants, which would be so awesome. And I can't wait to get her story and vision. And of course, she's going to be taking over from our buddy, Eric Norman, who came on and interviewed early on when we started these conversations. Scott Himes in the house. Scott, yo, brother, Monday nights are great. It's good to see you, man. Scott, who's become legend as it comes to ventless technologies, etc. Scott, we're glad you're here. So a couple things before we go find and pull her into the conversation. Number one, totally encourage you to have a notepad and pen. There will be things in her story that might be helpful for you in your story, things in her career journey that you might want to think about as you explore and continue to develop yours. So grab some notes. There are nuggets of wisdom, little wisdom bombs dropped all through these conversations. It's just kind of how it happens. Secondly, you are welcome to comment. You're welcome to ask questions, just like Scott's here. Boom. Monday nights are great. You're welcome to comment. Here we go. She's going to be a great leader. Actually, as you say that reminds me, you can always go to StreamYard/Facebook and you can enter your name so we can see your name. Other than that, though, if not, that's okay. What I'm going to do is I am going to go to my phone. I'm not texting my friends in the middle of a conversation with Christine. I'm just going to see who is commenting. So that was, hold on. I can't see it. Let's see here. Well, we'll find it. I'll get there. But she's going to be a great leader, says someone, and I believe it. It's going to be great. So know that you can comment. You can ask Christine questions. Feel free to do that. Lastly, a huge thanks to some of our partners who help make these happen. The team at Zumba Group, FENS Magazine, RD&D, thanks for believing in this mission and these conversations and for your support. If you didn't get the most recent magazine with Mark Rossi on the cover, go get it. You can reach out to them to get those magazines. Congrats to the Avanti crew. And then the June issue just came out digitally as well. Thanks to the team at Craven Company, Chelsea and Aaron and Rachel and the whole team, Eric over there, for helping with our website. You can always go to the website, fspowerplant.com. All of these conversations are there now. I uploaded them all this weekend. So you can go see Christine's conversation after the fact by that website. Love to see you there. So get ready for a great night. Let's go find her. Christine.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Go find me like I was hidden somewhere.
I know, it's like we're pulling you out from behind the closet or something. We're opening the door. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me.
Well, I love it. I know, these conversations, for people wondering, oftentimes we're coming in hot to these conversations. You had a busy day. You were at the office. You got home. There was traffic. A customer calls you, and then you're dialing in. How was Monday to start the week for you?
It was a bit. Mondays are really busy for us. We have all of our staff meetings and team meetings. But usually I can sneak out about 4:00 and get home, but had client meetings till 5:30. So I ordered some Domino's for the kids, told them to keep the TV down. And I'd see them in an hour. There's nothing I can't wait for an hour unless somebody's bleeding.
There we go. I love it. Same thing happens in my house. People are kind of eating in the background. I'm like, everybody off Wi-Fi. I don't know if we have the bandwidth. We'll see if that works. Thanks for giving us an hour, and to your kiddos for letting their mom join us instead of being with them right now. But okay, you're principal at Rippe Associates. Rippe is a really well-known consultant in our industry. Can you talk about your career journey kind of leading up to your role at Rippe Associates?
Sure. I started out as going for dietetics as a dietitian in school. And my professor, my senior year, was very interested in the consulting business, and she had worked for both Alita Rethmeyer and Tony Clevenger And so she encouraged all of us to work part-time. So I did that and worked with Alita on more operations consulting. And then there's a point as a dietitian, you have to join into a matching internship program. And so I wanted to stay in California. I didn't get a match, bottom line is. And so I had a year off before I tried again. And during that year, I was hired full time and really loved it, to the point that at the end of that, they said, if you don't get an internship, we'd like you to stay here and be what I ended up being, like 7 years later. So I went on to do some other, worked at Cisco as a food distributor, as a healthcare sales specialist.
Oh, yeah.
I did that for 3 years. And then one of my clients had interviewed at Rippe and said, I'm starting a family. It's a little bit too much travel for me. It's not the right fit. Maybe you should go, interview. So I did. And I've been there for 27 years. So it's been, something I started and hopefully will end my career doing. And still, even when I did it early on, it didn't register to me that that's a career that I could be in, for the rest of I wanted to be a clinical dietitian in a great big, like, Mayo Clinic hospital. So yeah. I changed my mind pretty quickly after that.
I bet. So let me ask you this. By the way, this was our buddy, Wade Kaler from FCSI. She's going to be, I just found him. She's going to be a great leader. I love it. Wade, welcome, brother. How does that background as a dietitian talk about the role it plays as you help customers design their food service needs?
Sure. Well, when I became a dietitian probably a little over 30 years ago, in the healthcare industry, food service directors, for the most part, were registered dietitians. So their background is as dietitians. So as a consulting business, Bob Rippe started our company with a healthcare background. That's where he came from. He's also a dietitian. Okay. So we have several people with that background, and really it helped, that we know kitchens, first of all, right? You do food service and you do clinical. So it's very important to us that we have people designing kitchens that have been in kitchens and worked in kitchens. But it's also good marketing, because we were marketing to food service directors who we automatically had a bit of, credibility being a registered dietitian. They knew that we knew what they did, and really we could build upon that reputation. So it was really, from a healthcare standpoint, a really good stepping stone.
Heck yeah. Obviously they need that trust. That makes sense, that they would know that whoever's helping me design knows what they're doing, understands what we're trying to accomplish. I don't know if I put this in the questions to you, but my daughter's 13. My son is 11. My daughter would tell you that she's going to be a doctor right now. And my son would tell you he wants to be an engineer. And so many of our conversations with different leaders have revolved around people coming into the industry. You kind of said you didn't realize, as you were thinking about your career as a dietitian, that you would sort of end up in this role. And you're so glad you did. I had a master's in education, was a history teacher. I never thought I would end up here. We all sort of stumble in. Right. So for people who are consultants, or as a consultant, when you're looking at people just sort of beginning their careers, are there skills or talents that you all think people that love this or are great at this would make a great consultant?
Yeah, I think there's several things, and it's really an interesting merging of both creativity and organization. Because you're project manager first and foremost. You're coordinating your projects, whether you have project managers working with you, but you have to have that organized mentality and be able to prioritize, meet deadlines. But then you're also designing, so you can click that other side of your brain and put on your creative hat and solve puzzles. I think if you have a genuine curiosity, if you have a food service background, I think that does help. And I think the ability to listen to clients, at least from our standpoint, I think it's all about listening to clients and providing solutions that work for them. They sometimes ask for our opinion. We're happy to give it. But a lot of it's listening to what they want, not coming up with some pat solutions. So I think as a younger consultant, that's hard, right? Because you're still cutting your teeth. And so you want to know all the answers. You want to make sure that you tell them the right thing. And then as you get older, you realize that consulting is very gray. There's a lot of different pros and cons, and you have to be able to, explain those solutions and really, sell the pros and cons and what makes sense to the specific client you're working with.
Did you find yourself in your earlier years thinking I want to provide the answers and struggling with that gray world. It can be hard to live in a world that feels gray, and you want to have the answers. You want to know what it is. You want to provide it. And sometimes I feel like for people, there's a perception that if I don't give the answer or I don't say the way it's supposed to be, that I'm lacking in some capacity, which of course isn't true.
Yeah.
That's just listening and letting it be. But did you find yourself progress on that journey?
Well, I'm a little bit more of an introvert anyways, so I'm not going to be the first one to jump in. And I had a wonderful mentor, in Bob Rippe, who did know all the answers. So, I was able to, learn from him and learn what he did. So I didn't feel like I had to know all the answers. He did a great thing for me in that every time we were in meetings together, he always introduced me as the COO of our healthcare department. So he would kind of give me that credibility that he already had as a young consultant, which I think, is part of the mentoring and what you do. So I think that's important. The other thing, the nugget that I always got from my dad is people don't care how much you know unless they know how much you care.
Yeah.
And I still feel that way. I don't have to be the one that knows everything. I would like to be able to go back and find a resource and be able to help in a different way. But as long as they know that I care about their job, their project, and will help them find the answers, I don't feel like I have to, know that at the tip of my tongue. The longer you've been in it, though, things do come much easier after experience.
Oh gosh, yeah, the hundreds of projects you've done, I'm sure. Jennifer Ward's in the house. Hi, Christine. Always great to hear from an amazing FCSI leader.
Hi, Jennifer.
So great. Hi, Jen. Sue, this is Sue Lauber. Hi, Jason. Great Energy's fantastic team. Hi, Sue. Welcome. This is our buddy Wade. Consultants have opinions?
No.
I spent some sarcasm there, Wade. That's really funny. Who's this? Drew Patterson. Yo, Drew, such a great advocate for our industry. Proud to know Christine.
Hi, Drew.
Love it. Okay, Christine. So when you're not working, when you're not on the phone with clients, when you're not helping design and consult, et cetera, what are you doing that fills you up? We all need lives. I remember someone saying not too long ago, and we all have different opinions about work-life balance, but they said, I don't know if it's about work-life balance. It's about having a life outside of work. What do you do for you to kind of recharge your batteries?
Yeah, I think I have better boundaries now than I had earlier in my career. And I don't know if that's just because you earn your boundaries, or you just learn to make them. But I'm not working until 7, 8 o'clock at night. Well, except for today, usually. I'm cutting it off at 4:30 and spending some time with my kids. I think what recharges my batteries is probably a little more alone time. I like to read. I like to go for walks. If I'm recharging my battery and I've got a weekend, I'll be up north by the fire and a glass of wine in my hand. So I think sometimes our life is a lot of face-to-face, at least it used to be. And so then to kind of relax, it's more of a introvert kind of pull back a little bit.
Yeah, I feel that so much. What do they say? Like introvert is versus extrovert. It's kind of the question is, where do you recharge your batteries? Is it alone or is it in groups and connecting and socializing and networking? I very much relate to you in that alone time to read or walk or just reconnect with me, I guess.
I can do the people thing, but as everybody that goes to conferences with me knows, I pull back. It's like I was in that Zen room at FCSI consultant at our education event. It's like I just need to, I can do that, but I need to pull back and I get my energy from just kind of getting away for a little bit, and then I can redo it again.
Good for you. What is the Zen room?
Wade and his team had set up a special room at our conference that was, it was really soft furniture, soft lighting. It had some greenery in there, some really soft music. It was a place that you could get away. It was really cool. I'd have to say that the furniture wasn't as comfortable as you'd want in a Zen room, but that was probably so we didn't go in there and sleep. So
right, I'm sure.
I love the Zen room.
Who's this? This is Eric Norman. Eric, what's up, brother? Hi, Jason, Christine. Loved the Zen room. The Zen room was popular. My daughter has like fake ivy from like Hobby Lobby hanging in her room. And it's like my favorite place to go. It's like, coming off the ceiling and feels very Zen-ish now that I think about it. This is Kristen Sedage. How do you pronounce Kristen's last name?
Today.
Kristen Sade. Okay.
Hi, friend.
Hi, Kristen. Thanks for joining us. Rock star. I freaking love it. Okay. You're doing a lot of wonderful things. You've got a lot of wonderful things coming. You're a principal at Rippe. What, for you, are there any disciplines in your journey that you're like, you know what, these have really been helpful for me in my career, or things that I live by? Is it a walk in the morning? Is it making the bed? Or is there anything like that in your world?
I do have to make my bed. But I think the things that I do are to help me kind of prepare and get ready for the week. So Sunday nights are usually my get ready for the weekend. So if anybody tries to schedule me after 4 o'clock on a Sunday, I'm like, I'm out. No, that's my time to unwind from the weekend, to start my to-do list, look at my calendar for the week. I'm a huge list person. I'm embarrassed to tell you how many lists of the same things I have in different places, because it's stupid, but I love lists. I love checking things off. Yeah. And I really, it just makes me feel organized and like I can handle the week. So that's one habit that I do. And the other is sleep. I have to get sleep. So I am obsessed with my, sleep monitoring and making sure I get my 8 hours and that it's uninterrupted and it's good quality sleep.
Okay. So when you're a sleep tracker, what are you, or is it on iWatch? Yeah. I can't get it. Okay. So it's on your iWatch. And what are you looking for when you study it? When you look at it, are you looking just to make sure that you got 8, or is there some? Does it tell you when you were in REM or anything like that?
Well, it tells me so it tells me how long I've slept, which is the first thing I look at is, did I get 8 hours in or not? Yeah. I also look at my heart rate, because it tells me, kind of where my health is at that point. Like if my heart rate's really high, like when I was sick last couple of weeks, I was pretty high. I like to watch it and make sure it stays down. And then I don't trust the quality of sleep version, because I sleep 8 hours. It tells me I get 15 minutes of deep sleep, which I know can't possibly be true. So I believe some of it I don't, but it gives me a goal to shoot for. And I like my sleep.
Good for you. Well, I mean, all the stats that I've read in the last few years talk about the importance of getting a lot of sleep. And I'm sure there are people that live off 3 hours and that's how they roll, but I don't know how they roll that way. And it seems like the highest performers really put a value on sleep. Here we go. Oh, go ahead.
I see. The other thing I do at night is, this tells you how much I appreciate my sleep, is, I go through a little gratitude thing when I'm falling asleep. And my first gratitude is my pillow. My second is my bed. And my third is I have a roof above my head. So that starts off my gratitude list every night. I really appreciate my bed.
What a great way to end the day. That's awesome that you go to sleep in gratitude. Do you find, I don't know when you started that, but do you find that going to sleep that way, ending your day that way, changes when you wake up? Do you find yourself almost in a gratitude place? I don't know if that would translate through 8 hours of sleep or not.
I don't know. I mean, I'm generally pretty happy and easygoing anyway, so I don't know that it affects my morning. I'm not generally a grumpy person in the morning, so.
Okay, got it. Love it. Suzanne is saying, try the Aura ring. It's fantastic. All right, Suzanne, we got to look that up. If you're watching Aura ring, I don't know if it's an actual ring.
I think it's that ring thing, yeah.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I think so.
I haven't heard of it. I don't track sleep, but maybe I should. Who is this? Lists. Sue, lists are fabulous. They're an excellent tool to stay focused. Heck yes, Sue. I love it. Buck is saying checklist manifesto works. Awesome. I like crossing things off too. It's like vacuuming. It's like pulling weeds. It's just that thing to see. I'm a highlighter. So when I get done, I highlight it and I see the bright orange or the pink or the yellow or whatever color my highlighter happens to be in the moment. And it helps a ton. I do still before you sleep. I don't know if you're making this point, Buck, but I actually keep a little, a notepad right on my, little stickies. These guys, I forget what they're called right now. Stickies. Maybe they're just called stickies.
3M.
Yeah, 3M stickies. Right by my bed. So if I'm going to bed, sometimes when I'm laying before bed, I'll think of something. And I'm I need to remember this. So I can just write it down as opposed to forgetting about it, which used to happen all the time, or just, dwelling on it all night.
I do designs in my head.
You have designs in your head?
I design, in my sleep.
Do you ever wake up and like think, okay, the 6 burner needs to go next to the, or whatever that is?
Usually a little bigger concept than that, but usually I'm trying to work out big spaces, but I don't ever really write it down. For some reason, I have a much better memory for plans than I do for details. So yeah.
Love it. The big picture. Ryan Blackman. Hey,
Hi,
Christine.
Ryan.
Hey, Ryan. Okay. Post-it notes. There we go. That's post-it notes. Duh. Okay. Thank you, Buck. Saving me. In the last 5 years, was there a new habit or a book or something that kind of changed your journey or your career in any way significantly?
This was the hardest one for me that you sent to me. I'm trying to think of what really. I think in the last 5 years, I've tried harder to connect because I am an introvert, and we had the whole COVID thing. I think I've tried to reach out more because I could just get lost in a book and not reach out. So I call my best friend every day, and we talk for at least 20 minutes to sometimes a couple hours. And I think that's been something that's really helped process. We can process what's happened during the day. So I think having another person to bounce that stuff off. My kids are getting older, right? I mean, they don't tend to like to process or talk to mom. I'm pretty much pariah, but so that was kind of one of the things. And I think the other thing is really, know what you can control and what you can't control. It's a little bit of an Al-Anon thing, but there's only so many things you can control, and you can't worry about all the things that are out of your control. So I think realizing what that line is of what you should be concerned about and able to control versus the things that you aren't going to be able to control, and letting those go.
Yeah, it's a fine line. I feel like I think as I get older, just continue in my journey, I think I get better at that. I think I'm still not where I want to be. I think I still worry about way too much, or dwell on things that I can't control, things that are, I'll dwell on it, think about it. But I think that does get better with perspective for some reason.
Yeah.
And connecting too, I think that's a great one, Christine, particularly for introverts. My wife would tell you all the time, Shannon, she would say, I am an out loud processor. And so she could have something rattling around in her brain for days. But until she speaks it out, either to me or to a friend or to whatever that is, then she's like, oh, now I have a different perspective on it. Now I know what I need to do.
And then your mind doesn't keep going. It's like, it's processed. I got some input. I got it off my chest. It's not going to roll around in there for the next 2 hours. So it's just good, I think, to verbally process with somebody.
Good job. I love it. That's a great one. If you are an introvert, like many of us in a lot of ways, which I think is interesting because we are a social industry. We connect at shows and we meet with clients and we do, we're on the phone a fair amount. But I know a lot of introverts in what we do. I would consider myself one as well. And so, making the intention to connect with others and talk and share, I think is so, so valuable. And a part of the community aspect of the Power Blind Network, to be honest. You're about to become, Eric is the chair of FCSI of the Americas right now. Of course, Wade, I don't know, is it executive director? I feel like it's something like that. Executive director. Okay. And in the next 6 months from now, you will take over as chair of FCSI of the Americas. What does that mean? Number one. And then number two, what are you looking forward to from a leadership perspective in helping guide our, America's consultants?
Yeah, well, I mean, it means a lot to me to be, selected by my peers to do this. It's something I always feel is very important, and in fact, our folks at the office will probably say I put too much importance on it, but I really feel like professional organizations are where you meet, not only colleagues but lifelong friends, and you can learn so much from them. We learn, as Wade always says, we learn as much from each other as we do at a conference. But I'm looking forward to continuing those connections through FCSI. Also working with Wade and his team. I've been on a couple boards before, and working with Forte is so much easier. I mean, it's just wonderful. I mean, I used to spend hours and hours on a previous professional board, and this is, he just makes it easy. He brings forth what needs to be brought forth, and we make decisions together. Looking forward to working with the board again. It's a great board. Everybody has different interests and brings different things to the table. And I think it's really fun to hear all those and yet come with a common, output to that of where we're going to go. So I'm looking forward to that leadership. Our group as well as the 5 families, we talked about this at MOFC and at FCSI, is you look around and we're still pretty homogenous. We don't have a lot of variety, and I'm really proud to be, a female chair of FCSI and to really see how many females we now have in our group. I think it's quite a bit more. It feels like it's quite a bit more. Both young folks and diversity in our group can be definitely way more diverse. But I'm looking forward to that. I think we have a great group. We have great education and good networking opportunities. I want to not screw anything up, Jason. That's pretty much what I'm hoping.
Okay. I think you're going to do great. Wade says, very kind, but great leadership makes our jobs easier. I think both can be true. Wade, congrats to you and your team for setting leadership up for success and making it easy. Because we all know that the people, Eric's of the world, and you and the role you're going to take, you all have jobs, you all have day jobs, and you all have families. And this is a volunteer position for you. And so way to go, Wade, to make it easy. Who's this? This is Eric. You will do great. Love that. I love the encouragement in this community. Yay. Carolyn, and we are looking forward to you serving as president at FCSI.
Thank you.
I love it. You just mentioned, females growing in our industry and diversity. I think you'll be the first female chair of FCSI. Is that correct?
That's what I'm told.
Well, how awesome is that to have that role, and congrats to you for being chosen for this. You said you see growth within FCSI, within your side. Do you see it throughout the whole industry? Is that something that you think is growing?
A little bit, but I don't think as much as I've seen. It feels like the consultants, at least I do a lot of healthcare, right? So the healthcare architects, I think, have become, probably almost 50 to 60% female architects. Huh. And so I don't know, for some reason, if that's my perception, but it feels like FCSI, we're not at 50%, but we are growing quite a bit. I look around at some of the other organizations. I don't see that yet. I see a few, and I have very good friends in MOFC that are females, as well as, at NAFM and other, groups. But I think there's still so much more growth, to go. And I don't know, if it's the sales aspect or the time aspect or the travel aspect sometimes that may not be as appealing. But I think there's a long way for us to go, but I'm glad to see some progress.
Here's a question for you, and maybe you haven't thought about it. I don't know, but because it wasn't on my list, but we're just talking about it now. The architects, you said about 50 to 60% are females. You see in the consultant community, females rising in your world and more. Is there something that you see happening there that you would offer the industry to say, here are things that our world, FCSI, is doing, or I see architects doing to recruit women more actively or develop them? I don't know what it is. Do you know what the difference would be between kind of your world and others, or anything you see really working for you all?
I think the more people see it, the more normalized it becomes. So I think hopefully we attract more and more by leading by example. Yeah. I think that consulting is a lot of helping, and I think healthcare architect is also a lot of, kind of a blend of architecture and kind of a emotional helping industry. And so maybe there's some attraction there for more females going in that direction versus, engineering. But we're seeing growth in all of them. And I think it's exciting. I don't, I hope I never get a job or get, a position because of male or female. I never thought about it that way. Like I said, until Wade interviewed me, I didn't realize that I was. You just try to do the next best thing for your organization. And, sometimes it's your time to lead. You step up, you do it. And I think everybody should do that.
I love it. That's a beautiful answer. Carolyn. Hi, Carolyn. Wow. Awesome. First female FCSI chair. Congratulations. I'm hoping to become the Southeast chapter leader next year. Hope we get to work together.
Sounds like we will.
Awesome, Carolyn. Good luck with that. We hope you do. Wonderful. Okay. Now I'm in sales. I work for a manufacturer, and you've got lots of manufacturers and manufacturers reps working with you to educate you on new technologies and solutions, etc. Is there something you wish we knew about your role that would help us more effectively or efficiently give you the tools you need?
Sure. I think one thing when I talk about this topic that I like to remind manufacturers and reps is that consultants don't sell anything except for their time. All we have to sell is time and our fees. So time is very important to us, and we need to know, we need to know new things, and we need help with what's happening out there. But I think understanding that consultants have pretty limited time. So both getting to the point and knowing who you're speaking to. So if you're speaking to me, I want to know the big picture things that my clients are going to be interested in. What's new overall? I don't need to know that the control panel matches exactly the same control panel. I need to know the big picture stuff. My spec writer, they want to know what the accessories are. What's the end user cost? They want to know all the details. My project managers want to know what's the clearance lines. Can I find a family on KCL? What are the utility requirements? So I think you have to know your audience a little bit when you're speaking to them and kind of keep it a little bit focused, or even just asking what they want to know. That said, we still all recommend and specify and buy from people that we know and that we know have our back. So, not being brief enough that you don't develop a relationship. We have plenty of times to develop relationships during networking events and other places. A sure way to not get in the spec is probably to come to the bar and tell me about your steamer. That's probably not the best time to educate. But we do, we need to know that there's somebody that we can go to help our clients when they have an issue. We can specify it, but if something happens to it and we don't have anybody that has our back and has our client's back, it's likely to not stay on our spec list very long, and it's really hard to get back on. Yeah. So, doing the right thing, I think, is very important, and making sure that we keep those relationships strong so that we have good communication. If something's happening, if there's, been an issue with a lot of things, and we should know about it so we can help, being surprised is not fun when the client has a surprise. So communicate with us and know who you're talking to. Sometimes I think there's a blanket statement of sales of, features and benefits to no matter who you are in front of. And I think you just need to be a little more thoughtful on who you're speaking to, who your audience is, and making sure that, you're using their time wisely.
I think that's a great answer. I think it goes back to what you talked about with your clients, listening, not having the right answer all the time or having to have it, but paying attention, listening. I think that's something every salesperson can do to recognize maybe they don't need what I have the information I have talked in my brain that I've given 30 times might not be what Christine needs right now.
I'm the healthcare person. If you start talking to me about bar systems, I'd be like, that's cool. But
yeah. There's not a ton of beer that they're doing in the hospitals, I guess.
They should be, but we can talk about that later.
I love it. Is anyone do you see any healthcare customers being more progressive on that end, being a little bit more open to, how would I say this, to what society generally loves or gravitates toward? I don't know.
What do we do when we're stressed out?
Yeah, right, there we go.
Well, the senior living, they definitely have, more of their hospitality areas. I would say in acute care, there's some partnerships that are happening now with leasing space to outsource, outside like restaurants or partners, and trying to figure out if there can be some liquor license. There's a lot of legality and liquor license in healthcare. And so some people will just prefer to stay away from that. But I think there's becoming more, more blend of the hospitality into the hospital systems. And I think with that, we'll bring in some, outside restaurants or franchises or other areas that could be used after hours, or, restaurants that can be used to, a lot of times it's to encourage, residents and new medical students to come to their facility. So how do you kind of wine and dine them without, the wine?
How do you dine them? That's great thinking. Okay, Wade, I missed this comment earlier. I would estimate 30 to 40% of new consultant members over the past few years are female now, compared to probably 10 to 15% 10 years ago. Wow, how cool.
That's great.
Yeah, that is awesome. Way to go. I wonder, this is be a question for Wade someday too. Maybe you, Christine, is, is there something, how do I think about this? That, um, where are consultants going to attract new talent, young talent?
That's a great question, Jason. We need to be doing a better job of it. We always talk about going to, the colleges, universities, and students and letting them know about our profession. The hard thing is, besides Eric, who was a mega superstar and started when he was like 12, most of the time, when you're young, you're still learning the business, and it's, as I said, as a consultant, you have to bring in a lot of pieces. You have to bring in some real life experience, some background in food service. You have to bring some things together, and so sometimes when the best time to catch a consultant might be about 10 years into their career, where they have a little bit of experience. So a young consultant, sometimes can be in their, 40s, compared to, those that are retiring. But I do think we need to do a better outreach for, attracting folks in all, of the 5 families for younger folks. And I haven't heard a great answer, but I think we can outreach to our students. I think we can attract more young people who will then attract more young people. So I think there's some ways to do it that we need to be looking at. But we have a wonderful young group at FCSI who encourage each other, and it's I think the more we have, just like the females, the more we'll attract.
I love it. Eric, I don't know if you know this, but one of Eric's things that I learned when he came on was he started working, I think this is true, at Dairy Queen, and he is like a wicked Dairy Queen lover. I'm wondering if he ever had like a Dairy Queen party, if that's something that he's done.
I don't know.
I don't know. Or I don't know. Maybe, I guess it'd be hard because you guys haven't had many times together. I think about it. I don't know. I'm a Dairy Queen snob too. That's where Eric and I connect. So,
I don't like ice cream, so.
Oh, ice cream person.
I am a cookie and bar person. Like I would, I don't know. I just never have found the ice cream sherbet cold dessert thing worth the calories. I would rather go for a cookie or a bar.
I love this. Is Eric, Dairy Queen. We never did our Blizzard challenge. Eric, we still got time, pal. Let's make it happen. I'm in. That's really funny. Okay, Christine, you've got a love for English literature. And I showed you at the beginning, the only English literature I've read was by a guy named George MacDonald years ago, The Curate of Guyott. It's like 3 books in one, back from I think he was from the late 1800s. What is it about this niche of writing of literature that so attracts you and appeals to you?
Well, I mean, I do like pretty much all books except for nonfiction. So I will read, pretty much anything. But I think if you go back to the classics, I really, the Jane Austen novels always had me. And I think it might be the idealistic. Kristen, if she's still listening, has often called me a Pollyanna. And I just think I have that idealistic, I think life back then seemed so simple and easy. I know it wasn't, but, and you knew what you were supposed to do, what you weren't supposed to do. It's just, there were very, big boundaries. And I just think, that whole organization, or the kind of the black and white of the world, is appealing to me. And now it's probably just called fantasy.
Right.
But I like that. But I like P.D. James and Elizabeth George are 2 English mystery writers. I love mysteries. I love Reacher books. I love pretty much about any fiction. I think for me, it's a form of escapism, right? I can get into a good story or good book. And I won't remember it. You can ask me the book I read last week. I won't be able to tell you the author, but I loved it. Those are the details I don't keep, but I immersed myself in a really fun story for a couple of days.
I love that. This is Kristen, Pollyanna in the nicest sense. That is great. I love it. Of all the things to be called, that's a pretty good one. Taz, hello from Arkansas. Yo, brother, what's up? I'm glad to see you. Wade, Orlando FCSI Symposium Blizzard Challenge Smackdown.
Perfect.
Jason versus Eric. Here's what I'm picturing right now, Wade. Do you remember what was the movie where they ate all the pies and then they ate too much? It was from years ago. Oh my gosh. It's going to come to me anyway. It didn't end well for someone. I think everyone started vomiting. They ate so
We
much.
can do mini blizzards, right? So that we can all have a little bit.
Yes, we'll have a blizzard bar. You like bars, Christine? We'll have a blizzard bar. And did you say bars, cookies, and bars?
Oh, those kind of bars. Well, I do, but
there we go. We'll do a blizzard bar where people can get blizzards. We'll have we can get everybody's favorite kinds. Oh, Stand By Me. That was it. Stand By Me. That was the first thing that came to my head. I think that would be so fun. Who is
the
this?
best blizzards are the ones that have a lot of cookies or bars in them, and then you can feel like you're eating a bar.
100%. I'm a Heath guy. Heath bar blizzard. That's my jam. There we go. This is Stephanie Gilbert. Hi, Stephanie. Hi, friends. Love you both. We love you. Zena loves bars. There we go. Zena loves bars. Blizzard flights. That's an idea.
Oh, yeah. Perfect.
This is really, really funny. Okay. Your specialty is healthcare in terms of designing and working with clients. What's the biggest change you see coming or moving towards in healthcare? Is there anything top of mind that you're like, wow, this is moving really quickly?
There's just, I think the crunch in labor, I think, is going to continue to evolve in healthcare. I just don't see them attracting a whole lot of staff at this point. So I think we'll continue working on that, and technology be the two probably biggest things that we're working on in healthcare. And I think one of the things I've found over the last probably 12 years is that politics makes a big difference in healthcare and reimbursements and a lot of what they do. So it's like every kind of 4 years, you're kind of holding your breath a little bit going, who's going to make a mega change in healthcare, and how does that shake everything up? And sometimes it's probably for the good, but, our world can change, based on, who's running the show and what kind of ideas they have. And it didn't seem like it was like that 12 years ago, but so I think we always have to be a little watchful of kind of how the industry could shake up. But I think more telehealth, more technology, fewer people, except for really sick people in hospitals.
Wow, really? So fewer people like me, you mean fewer customers in hospitals actually?
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing, a lot more outpatient buildings where they can treat so many things without having to come into an acute care hospital setting. And then we're seeing just these mega towers, 900,000 bed towers that are basically ICUs, NICUs, treating the sickest of the sick people. So I think, there's been more consolidation of sick, and then trying to help people with wellness throughout their life in different ways besides bringing them into a hospital.
Yeah. Okay. How about Carolyn brings up robots? Are you seeing that continue to grow in terms of labor force in hospitals?
Yeah, that's part of the technology. We're seeing a lot of AGV, AMR deliveries of patient tray carts and soil tray cart returns, and delivering meds and delivering linens. And I think anything that we can do to, materials management does not add any value. Bob Rippe used to say that, running around does not add value. So if we can have another vehicle to run around things, and we can provide service where service needs to be provided, I think that makes the most sense.
How much of that, the robots delivering things to rooms, et cetera, is in your sphere, your specification? I mean, I know there's some boundary between what you're specifying and what different parts of the hospital, there's different groups of people doing that. Does that end up in your world a lot?
We don't usually specify the robotics ourselves. I mean, some food service directors have, but in the world where we're working with the architects, it's generally a decision made at a higher administrative level of what they're going to do overall for the building. Okay. It does affect us because we need to have, the amount of space that it takes to, run robots back and forth with people in aisles, and, making sure we don't stop their movements, and how much radius we need and how much space for charging stations. So it affects what we're doing, and where we're bringing trays up and down. Do we have, designated AGV elevators? Or are we, going into a common central bank? So it affects us. We don't necessarily aren't the ones that are generally specifying which system, but for the most part, most large hospitals are using some sort of robotic system for delivery.
Okay, got it. I feel like that was, as I walked the halls of NRA a couple of weeks ago, the amount of robots I saw flipping things or delivering things was amazing. And I guess the crunch we're in with labor, it makes sense. Kevin Coachman, yo, brother, looking forward to a great term with you as FCSI chair, Christine.
Oh, thanks, Kevin.
That is great. Okay, Christine, was there a challenge in your life, in your career journey, wherever, that you overcame that really taught you kind of what you're? We all go through stuff
Yeah.
And it's easy to forget that when we look up to people and particularly leaders. I think it's easy to forget that we all have stuff in our lives, things we had to overcome. Was there anything in your life that you overcame that really kind of, I don't know, taught you what you were made of, taught you your strength?
Yeah, I think probably the toughest time I had two challenges that kind of came at the same time. And one was when Bob Rippe retired. And I became with Connie Dixon kind of co-leaders a few years after that for the healthcare team. But while I spent a lot of time with Bob and mentored by Bob, there were a lot of activities that I had never done. I had never led a team before, managed. I hadn't done a lot of large hospital schematic designs or run a large project on my own. And it was a very scary, pardon me, it was scary time. At that same time, very soon after that or close to that, I was also going through a divorce. So, both ends of the world were really disrupted at the same time or very similar times. And, I think it's a blur now when you look back at it. It feels like, my kids were like 5 and 8, so they were young. And so trying to get my feet under me professionally and feet under me, individually, at the same time were very difficult. I mean, I have a great support network, but just building your life back up, buying houses and being there for your small kids, and I just was that was a big challenge at the same time. And I think you just keep doing the next right thing, right? That's all you can do.
I think the next right thing is a great phrase. Trying to do whatever that is as you figure it out. Sometimes we know, sometimes we don't. We take a step hoping it is,
Yeah.
but that's a
Some of
lot.
them were not the right step. I mean, I know looking back, in hindsight and knowing what I do now, definitely a lot of growth since that time, but at the time you're doing, you do the next right thing with what you know.
Totally. Thanks for sharing that. And I think that's a lot personally, professionally at the same time, that when you walk through and where it's not something that's constantly on your mind every day, you've kind of walked out of it a little bit. You realize, I guess everything is perspective. You're like, you know what, if I can handle that and get through that personally and professionally, there's a lot of things I can handle.
Yes.
Yeah.
I absolutely feel that way.
Oh, I love
I can
it.
get through that period of time. I can feel like I can get through anything.
Yeah. Okay, finish this statement. I am happiest when.
I am happiest when I am on a patio or deck overlooking some body of water
Yeah.
with a glass of wine in my hand, talking to a friend.
That's pretty dreamy.
I know.
I love it. What is it about that? Do you know? What, has water always been a part of your life?
Yeah. Well, I'm from Minnesota, right? 10,000 lakes.
Sure.
We have lake life here, and that's what we do. We go up north, we sit by the fire, we hang out. It's just a real place to kind of both relax and connect. So I definitely, one of my goals is to move to a warmer place as soon as my little one is graduated. He's going to be a sophomore next year. So, and I tell everybody this, it's like I'm as soon as I can, I'm moving somewhere warm. I need to get somewhere warm and somewhere that's a lot closer to any body of water. I don't care. I mean, I prefer it to be an ocean, but it could be an ocean, a lake, a river, some body of water. I need that. That's my thing.
I love it. I have, I don't know that anybody knows this outside my wife, but on my phone, like I track on Zillow, like there's just different things in my world that I dream about sometimes. And one of the places, or like the searches, is Wisconsin waterfront homes, which is very similar to, I'm sure, to Minnesota waterfront homes. But
Yeah.
I've never lived on water. And there is something that is so, I think, English literature about it, like romantic to me,
Romantic,
about
peaceful.
looking at the water, whether from the living room or that back deck. And there's, anytime I get to vacation in that capacity, I don't know, it brings a calm that causes me to long for that more in my life.
I totally agree.
Oh, look at this, Kristen. Blessed to have shared many of those wonderful times with you on the deck, I'm guessing, with a glass of
Near the
wine.
water with a glass of wine, by the fire, all of those things.
Oh, Kristen, that's awesome. Okay, let's ask this lastly. How do you define success? What does success look like to you?
I think success I don't want to equate it with happiness but sometimes I do. It's such a complicated question, Jason. I think success in life is being happy with what you're doing, being happy in your day-to-day moments, being happy where you are with life. And I think sometimes that's just a mindset, right? I think if you have that mindset, you can feel successful, whether it's professionally or personally. I think if you can find the joy and happiness in what you're doing. But I think that's success. I mean, success is watching, two young boys grow up to be, kind and polite, gentlemen. Yeah, I think success is mentoring new people into an industry that you love, and watching, their eyes, light up at the same industry and making that available to them. So I think I've had a hard time with what success is in one thing, but I think it's about being happy and being happy with where you're at.
All those things sound like success to me as it relates to your boys and your family, and as it relates to people coming in the industry, your clients, and as it relates to you. I love it. I love that there isn't one thing. Thanks for sharing that. Who's this? This is, there's some feedback. It's better by the ocean, says Virginia.
I'll be there soon.
Noted. The English Lake District. I don't know where that is. Do you know what that is? English Lake? Either do I. Buck, I'm sure you do. I need to research that. As it relates, I think all the things you mentioned as it relates to success, Christine, oftentimes they're about joy or other people's joy that you're helping create. For your boys, I think about this all the time with our kids. Like, I feel like my biggest goal, I don't think they're listening right now, is them being able to walk their journey, certainly with help and being kind and polite, and having the courage to dream all these things. And I have to believe in watching you create the things that you're doing in your life to contribute and to lead and to walk through moments, that you're modeling it really, really well. I'm going to end with something that I love. It's my favorite part of the night, where we get to talk about you and the contributions that you've made in other people's lives. You're certainly doing it at home. Your boys are somewhere eating some pizza, but you're doing it in the industry, both as a colleague and as a person. So I'm going to read just a couple things from some of your colleague friends about you and your role in their lives. Eric Norman, our Blizzard buddy. I met Christine early on in my involvement with FCSI. I had the pleasure of serving with her on the new and young member committee when that initiative was just getting started. Over the years, we've had the opportunity to serve on many various other boards, committees, and task forces together. Christine has always been a great sounding board for me if I ever wanted to discuss association-related items, consulting business, or just life in general. I respect and admire the many accomplishments that Christine has achieved in her career as a consultant. Over the years, we have become great friends, and I always look forward to spending time together at various FCSI and industry events. With my term as chair coming to an end at the end of the year, I am very confident that FCSI will be in good hands with Christine taking over. The members can be confident that she will serve as a great leader and will continue to move FCSI forward in a positive and an exciting direction.
Oh, thank you, Eric.
That is fun, Eric.
Very kind.
Stephanie Gilbert from Food Service Holdings, BSI English. Christine is a force. She is one of the first consultants I met when I transitioned into the equipment sector. Her expertise, her intellect, and her willingness to mentor and share her knowledge is one of the reasons I've come to love the specifying community as much as I do. Mm-hmm. Along with so many, I am blessed to call her a friend.
Thank you, friend.
Our buddy Wade Kaler, FCSI Forte Association Manager. Christine is such an amazing person. She's been involved with FCSI since I took over as executive director. From conference planning to ethics committee to council for emerging consultants, and now the next chair of FCSI the Americas and the first female to hold that position. She is a true leader that association executives dream of having involved. And as amazing as all of that is, she's an even better human being, a fantastic mom, friend, and fellow Bulldog owner.
Oh, thank you, Wade.
Oh, that picture of your Bulldog the other day was awesome, by the way. He looked so content, or she looked so content.
I went to Bulldog races yesterday at the horse racing track. They had Bulldog races. It was
no way. That is really fun. I didn't know that was a thing. Lastly, your friend, Kristen Sade. Meeting Christine as a part of the conference planning committee for the 2008 FCSI conference.
2010.
2010, Kristen, turned out to be one of the best results of my association membership. She is that rare person that has intelligence, talent, humility, courage, grace, and independence, and a quite strong will to boot. Smiley face. Her transparency and her passion contribute to her success as a consultant, but even more so as a mother. She is fierce and sweet, and she brings this not only to her clients, but to her friends and her family as well. I am lucky to not only call her a respected colleague, but one of my very best friends as well. Anyone who has the opportunity to spend time with her, either professionally or personally, will be better for it.
Oh, thank you, honey.
Oh,
very kind.
Christine, thanks on so many levels. Thanks for joining us for an hour tonight. Thanks for modeling all that you do in the industry. Thanks for taking on this new mantle that you're about to take as the first female chair and leading your association. Know that, and obviously, reading all these wonderful comments from your colleagues. Thanks for being such a great friend to so many in the industry.
Oh, thank you, Jason. Thank you for all of you guys for supporting me. I mean, it's been a joy. I mean, some of my best friends are from the industry, and I love you all. Thank you so much.
Oh, heck yeah. Listen, everybody watching, thank you for joining Christine and I tonight. She was super awesome in sharing parts of her story, her dreams, what she loves, the balance of a consultant, creativity and organization, and all these wonderful things. And some of the challenges in her journey. And listen, we all go through things. We all have life that we have to figure out. And even when we don't know what the best next right thing is, we keep taking steps in the hopes that the steps we're taking are those. And really, if we continue to move, if we continue to take steps forward, it comes to us. We have people we surround ourselves with, community guiding us along the way. There's feedback received in that journey. So if you're in a place where you're feeling it's one of those spots for you right now, keep moving. Know that you are not alone, that there's a reason we do this food service power plant community so that you can say we're doing it together. If you need to reach out, find someone that you trust, someone you're close with, you're welcome to reach out to me. I'm happy to listen, or we can point you in the right direction of some support, whatever support might look like for you. And keep doing it. Listen, food service industry, let's keep doing this together. I know, the last 2 years have been uniquely challenging, and now we're kind of out and about more, which is wonderful, seeing friends. And there's a new kind of challenge. I don't think that's ever going to change. People are tired. I was talking to someone today at an industry event downtown Denver, and they're like, "Man, we need positivity right now." And I don't think that will ever change. So we'll keep bringing that together and finding ways to encourage each other, which is what we do. Nice conversation, both you, Larry, Wayne, yo, man, Taz. Best part of the interviews, what they mean to others, uplifting. I love it, Taz. Wade, great conversation. Wade, thanks for all your contributions and your friendship to both Christine and us. Everybody have a great night. Thanks again to Maureen and Dave and Kathy and Joe and the team at Zumba Group. Thanks to the team at Crave for all their support of what we're doing. If you want to see these conversations, head to fspowerplant.com. They are all, or just about all, up there. You can check any of them out. I think Christine is number 70 something, maybe 80. And so you can go see tons of interviews and conversations with industry leaders And everybody, thanks again. Christine, thank you. Have a great night.
Thank you.